Hey guys, so a little while ago I did a stream of Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy the Duelist, which is just like the PS4, Xbox One uh, latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, and it's pretty standard. You just use the cards to fight. You gain cards by beating more enemies, booster packs, etc. You can even go through all or four and like a little bit of all four of the series and a little bit of Arc V. Really fun game. Had a lot of fun streaming it. Found out people really requested that I do Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's Play or stream. So I think I'm going to keep streaming that because I had a lot of fun doing that. But I wanted to know if you guys would be interested in me doing like a Let's Play and some of the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Games I've played. So first up, there are four options. These are the four games I own at the moment. So I'm going to choose from these four. If things go well, maybe I'll look into getting more. Maybe I'll look into playing them. Who knows? But I want you guys to decide which of these I play. So in the description and in the comments, there'll be a straw poll. And in the straw poll, there'll be four options for the four Yu-Gi-Oh games. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, which is for PS1. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses for PS2. Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters, Capsule Monster Coliseum, I think it's called, for PS2, and Yu-Gi-Oh! The False-Bound Kingdom for GameCube. Those are the four I still own. Um, I so just you can choose any of them. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to limit it to like one choice. So basically, choose the ones that you'd like to see a Let's Play of. You can choose all four. You can choose one. You can choose none. If so, probably stop watching now. But just so you guys have like an educated opinion, if you've never heard of any of these games or if you've heard of some of them, this is a quick rundown. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories was the very first. I think it was the very first Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. It came out for PlayStation 1, and it was released actually just as the manga, so not even the anime. I don't even know if the anime had been greenlit yet. This is just as the manga had gotten to Dungeon Dice Monsters. So it was before Battle City. It was like just barely after Duelist Kingdom. So very very old cards, and the game mechanics weren't quite figured out. So it plays a little bit like the Yu-Gi-Oh, like just traditional Yu-Gi-Oh, but has a couple kinks here and there. So, for instance, you can only play one monster, and or one spell per turn. You can't do there's no like there's no like special effects or anything. That's the other thing. All monsters are normal monsters. None of them have any special effects. So it's very much just like an endurance contest. Whoever has the highest attack points wins. The other mechanic they have, which isn't part of the actual game or a part of the actual like card game, is you can there's like mass fusions going on. Like you don't have to use polymerization at all. The trade-off is I don't think there's that many of like the actual fusion cards in the game. Let me back up a little bit. So basically, you'll combine random low-level monsters and try and get a high-level monster. This is like all about like the first like 40 duels you do until you get like cards that can stand up on their own, like Dark Magician and Gaia, the Fierce Knight and Summon Skull, etc. Those aren't going to come into play until later, like much later. So you start off with really weak monsters. Luckily, so do your opponents. And the way to get the edge is that you want to fuse them together as much as possible. And there are certain monsters that are pretty overpowered. I can think of one, which is Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. It pretty much wins all of the early ones if you can get it. And you just like kind of build up your deck slowly. Like you'll swap out one 400 attack point monster for like a 700 attack point monster, and so on. It goes very slow. There are a lot of opponents in the game. I've never actually beaten the game. I've gotten pretty far, but it's always either been like, because I've been playing this game since PlayStation 1. I actually owned a physical disc of it. And so in between switching from PS1 to PS2 to PS3 all the way up to now, I've lost a lot of data for it. So I've never actually gone through, or I'll lose interest, and before I can get a chance to go back and play it, I'll lose the data. And that's going to be an ongoing thing here. So that's this game. I should that's a little bit showing it off. I just showed one duel or parts of it, but that's the general gist. I don't know how long a playthrough of that would be, but it'd be pretty neat. I might actually I don't know if I'd stream that one. It could work as a let's play, but that's just one of them. So the next one is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses. A lot of people remember playing this one. I believe this came out. I looked it up. Came out a little bit after. I think it was like midway through Duelist Kingdom. Oh wait, I did look it up. It's So this one came out like halfway through in the anime when it was like halfway through Battle City. So it was like right as they got to like the tag duel against like the Paradox, or not the Paradox Brothers, the masked guys, when Kaiba and Yugi duel them. So it's like they have some newer monsters, and they definitely have more variety. But for the most part, it's still a little bit limited, and this game plays very, very differently. This game uses the deck leader system, which is you have one monster, and that monster is your deck leader, and also is where your life points are. In the video I show, I pick Twin-Headed Behemoth, or Thunder. I can't remember his fucking name. But basically, if an opponent's monster attacks your deck leader doesn't get to fight back. Instead, it's basically like a direct attack on your life points. And I believe you only have 4,000 life points in this game. It might be more, it might be less. I'm not 100% sure. I think in the match I played, it was only 4,000. And the only way to win is either there are a couple conditions for victory. If you can close in your opponent, so say you get them into the corner, and then you occupy all 3 spaces around them so that they can't summon, you automatically win. If you damage them personally to get their life points to 0, then you win. If you just defeat enough of their monsters and do do enough battle damage, you'll win that way too. And this game works on a grid system, so it's kind of similar to like chess or something, where you move the monster around, you attack, etc., etc. I've beaten this game I think once, and that's both campaigns. You can either start off as on Yugi's side or Kaiba's side, and you'll duel various duelists trying to collect the 8 rose cards. So if you start on Yugi's side, you start off against Weevil and Rex, and then you'll move on from there. It's a fun game. I definitely know some of the ins and outs of it. I don't think I've ever beaten it since that first time, but yeah, it could be very cool. I like strategy. I like using the different cards and stuff. And as you level up your deck leader and stuff, they get different effects and whatnot. So it's got a lot of game mechanics to it. So could be pretty cool. Next up, just in the similar vein, is Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters. Excuse me. This one actually came out after the anime was finished, or very close to it. So it has a pretty updated list of monsters. Once again, I've never beaten it. I've gotten up to chapter 5. I don't know how many chapters there are, but it seemed like I was gearing towards the end. My one flaw with this game is that you can't actually re-challenge opponents. Like in Forbidden Memories, once you beat someone, you can go into the main menu and fight them again as many times as you want and try and get different cards. In Duelist of the Roses, you can always re-challenge opponents if you like meet the requirements to face them and stuff like that. But this game, you kind of just, once you beat them, you move forward. So I've never beaten it. There's probably a new game plus. But I very, very much enjoy this game. Plays a lot like, kind of reminds me more of XCOM than of the Yu-Gi-Oh games, like XCOM or Fire Emblem, because some cards do have effect, or some monsters do have effects and stuff, but for the most part, this one plays a lot more like chess. Certain monsters can only move certain ways. They can only attack in certain ways. And yeah, it kind of uses the deck leader system, except instead of a deck leader, you have a crystal. And it's the same idea. If the opponent can either attack your crystal, or they can destroy all your monsters, and that's the condition for victory. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with this game too. Again, I haven't beaten it, but I've always wanted to. Same deal, just like with Data Loss or something like that. But that's definitely the most updated of these games. So it has the best roster of different monsters we can choose from. And finally, there's Yu-Gi-Oh! The False-Bound Kingdom. I've actually beaten this game many times, and I would argue it might be my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. Which is a shame because it has terrible ratings on like GameFAQs and Metacritic and stuff like that. I think it's a fantastic game. The difference is this game very, 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 very loosely plays like Yu-Gi-Oh! In fact, there's no cards at all. And the way it works is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards are now transformed into monsters, and it's kind of like an overhead view a like RTS type style game where each have a team of each player you control has a team of 3 monsters, and they'll fight teams that also have 3 monsters. And it's the same kind of deal as the other games where you'll get into a battle, and either you'll destroy all their monsters and you'll win that way, and then that unit is deleted, then they won't respawn for a while. Or if you win, then your opponent stays where they are and you move forward, and they kind of get stuck for like 5 seconds. But the objective is to capture all the different territories and stuff like that. But it very much plays like an RPG style game where it's just like it's turn-based. You try and attack who you can. The difference is you can only attack so many times. You'll have like you can see like little the stars represent how many attacks you have. I really enjoy this game because you can do things like polymerization in battle, where you can fuse 2 monsters just at any given point. You can upgrade monsters, like if you use Blackluster Ritual on Gaia the Fierce Knight, he permanently becomes Blackluster Soldier. And so this works again kind of similar to Duelist of the Roses, where you choose which campaign you want to do. So you can start off on Yugi's campaign or Kaiba's, and then once you beat that, you can carry all your monsters over to the next campaign, and everything starts at level 30 instead. And then you can do it again, and it starts at level 60, and then 90, and that's it, because it maxes out at 99. But if you beat Yugi and Kaiba's campaign, there's also a short campaign where you can do Joey's little campaign, which is the events he did before he ended up on Yugi's side. I love this game to death, and I would very much like to do a Let's Play in it. So if you want my biased opinion, I would like to do this one. So if we get to like a tie or pretty close, I'll probably pick this one, just because I think it's different. But that being said, I'm willing to play any of these Yu-Gi-Oh games. I legitimately kept them because I enjoy them. And they all kind of play on things from the show. Like you can use, I don't know if Duelist of the Roses you can do it, but in Capsule Monsters and Falsebound Kingdom, you can like upgrade monsters, like so you can make them like upgrade. Like I know you can turn Dark Magician into Magician of Black Chaos in both of them. You can fuse monsters, and they will permanently become that way in Capsule Monsters, and it's just per battle in Falsebound Kingdom. They all have their strengths and weaknesses, and I'd gladly play whichever one you guys want. And my favorite thing is none of them, except for like Forbidden Memories, very, very loosely, they don't really use the card game. They all kind of use their own mechanics, and I actually like that. Because if I'm going to play the card game, I'm just going to play Legacy of the Duelist. So, after showing a little bit, let me know which ones sound the coolest to you, or doesn't matter if you'll just play, if you'd watch any of them. And be sure to vote in the straw poll in the description and in the comments. And I'll look at that data. I think I'll let that video run for, or I'll let that poll go for like 2 weeks or so, and then I'll kind of put together the data after that. So, thank you guys for paying attention, and I will see you next time. Look forward to hearing what you guys think. Oh, also, if you want to just add comments about which games you liked better, which games you liked more, why you'd want to see a certain Let's Play over another one, just let me know in the comments. If you give good enough reasons, it might kind of sway me one way or another. So yeah, I want to hear your cases. It's not just this isn't just a blind like review. It's not just like all you can do is vote. You want to leave comments? Feel free to leave comments. I'll definitely be reading them. All right, thank you guys, and see you next time.